in.
All right, hot mic. Ready to roll?
Yep.
Okay. Good evening. Welcome to Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for Thursday, May 25th, 2023. We have a short agenda tonight. I think we can handle it. First, we'll do a roll call, then we'll approve our minutes from the May 11 meeting. And then as regular business, we have a public hearing for a case for special use permit for massage therapy. And then we'll have discussion on old business, new business, and hopefully adjourn. So quick evening. So start with the roll call, please.
Member Alfonso. Here. Member Cap.
Here.
Member O'Brien.
Here.
Member Johnson.
Here.
Chair Pro Tem Bransky.
Here.
And Chairman Cirzega and Member Castaneda informed me they would be absent today.
Okay, next we have to approve the minutes from the May 11th Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. In your packet, you have the meeting minutes. Anybody have any corrections, additions, omissions they want to point out?
I have one on page 3. It's near the end. Member O'Brien asked where the parking pad would be located and requested a summary of the submittal from Mr. Calvi. The answer should be in there. He answered in the front yard.
Excuse me. Isn't that the start of the next?
I'm sorry?
Isn't that the start of the next?
Yeah, it's in the next paragraph.
I
Mr.
mean, he
Calvin
is
stated
stating-
the plan for the pads is for it to be placed in
It just got
the
split into
front
two.
yard. So it's already there.
Oh, my error.
It just got split into two.
I can remove the return there.
My error. I stand corrected.
Okay.
Whichever's more appropriate. Anyone else? Going once, going twice? No, entertain a motion to approve the minutes as, as they stand.
So moved.
You can have it.
Okay, we've given the motion to Member O'Brien and
I'll second it.
the second to Member Alfonso.
Member Alfonso. Yes. Member Cap.
Abstain.
Okay. Member O'Brien.
Yes.
Member Johnson.
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Bransky.
Yes. All right. Next up, we have case number 23-15, special use permit for massage therapy. How this will work, I know that our applicant has been here before us, but we'll give a quick reminder. So what we'll do is I'll give a quick summary. Then we'll have you come up to the podium. You'll state your name and address for the record, but we'll swear you in because all testimony is given under oath. And then we'll get an explanation of what you're looking for and then give the board members a chance to ask questions. So this case, as it stated, was a special use permit for massage therapy at 920 West 175th Street, which is currently in the B4 Shopping Center District. Formerly, it's a professional office. And it is going to remain a B4 Shopping Center District, but be proposed to be used for massage therapy. It is surrounded by R4 to the north, B4 to the east, B4 to the south, and B4 to the west. Legal notice was published in the Daily Southtown on April 26, 2023. Letters were sent to 74 property owners, residents, and businesses within 250 feet. As of May 15th, 2023, 2 residents of Garden Lane had called to inquire. I'll ask staff, did anything come of those inquiries?
One person left a message saying she was in favor of the services proposed. One person left a message asking if it was going to be at the casino or in the Garden Lane complex. I left him a subsequent message explaining that it was neither of those and didn't hear back.
Okay. And we have in our packet an application, response to the standards for special use business operations narrative, and a letter, authorization letter from the landlord. A plat of survey, a floor plan, and then 4 staff exhibits that have been attached. So, Ms. Best, if you want to come on up. And if you can just state your name and address for the record, please.
Benita Best, and my address is 19900 Governor's Drive, Olympia Fields.
Okay, and want to raise your right hand if you sort of tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So I understand from the materials that were given to us that you came before us previously regarding another address. Your deal there didn't come to fruition, so you've chosen another site in Homewood. Thank you very much for staying in Homewood. And so now we're here to consider that address. Is that kind of the crux of what we're up?
Yes.
So, and maybe I just stole your whole speech in your own words.
Actually, yeah, she was here for quite a while.
Yeah.
In that meeting and answered a lot of questions, and it was somewhat difficult, but
Maybe highlight some of the, if there's fundamental differences other than the address between what your application was last time and what you're doing at this site. Maybe that would be the best place to start, if there are any differences.
It's basically the same. My business model, the services that I'm going to provide, nothing has changed. Let's see. Really nothing has changed. It's just a different location.
Okay.
The setup of the space is better for my business. But besides that, it's basically the same.
Okay. I'll open it up for questions from the board. Member Alfonso?
So, can you tell me, is this the second floor or the first floor?
First floor.
First. Okay, so it's not the build-up that they had before. Okay, and you have the same basic services you're providing.
Yes.
Do you see the multi-purpose room being used for many classes during the week, or what do you see that using?
Yeah, the multi-purpose room is also, it's the yoga room, so it will be the room that will be for the yoga, qigong, Pilates, and other mind-body, low-impact exercises. And that will also be the room where I will have workshops that will be related to nutrition, health, wellness, but from a holistic aspect.
And then as far as, is there memberships that you have to this, or you would pay by if a person came, they would pay individually for your classes or your services?
Yeah, I may do membership, I'm not sure yet. I have thought about it, but I do know that I'm gonna have packages.
Okay, and you have employees, or do you have independent contractors who?
Independent,
Everybody's independent?
yes.
Okay. I think I'm good, thank you.
You're welcome.
Member Cap?
Good evening.
Good evening.
So my questions are probably going to be directed to staff. Are all of the people with whom you're associated, you call them independent contractors, so are they working for you or are they working for themselves?
They're working for themselves, but they'll be subleased in that space. Their rooms, the treatment rooms.
So do you share in their fees, or are you charging them? Or?
Yes, I'm charging them to rent the space.
Okay, so my question then for our staff person is, and I brought this up the last time we considered this, are any of these uses other uses? Or would any of these other uses in and of themselves require a special use permit?
No, only the massage therapy.
So none of the other services that you provide with the people who are associated with you, they would not, if they occupied the space on their own, they would not need a special use permit.
Correct.
Okay. This is my question. No further questions at this time.
O'Brien?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'd like to clarify one thing. You mentioned that nothing really has changed, and the letter you provided us tonight is almost identical to the letter you provided in December. But your layout is different. So my question to clarify is, there will be 4 treatment rooms to be subleased, not 5. In December, it was 5.
Yeah, there is one less room, because before it was gonna be 3 massage therapy
Right.
rooms, and now it's just 2.
Right.
So that's a difference. That's a change, and then just,
And you will do the massage in a treatment room, but the other 3 will be sublet. I mean, the other 4 will be sublet.
yes,
Okay. So that means that the letter you provided will have to, should be corrected for the record to 4. What suites will you be occupying?
can you clarify that? Quick.
Which offices are vacant rooms in that building known as suites will you be occupying?
Do you looking for the number?
Are they broken up into suites, or are they just, it's just open?
Well,
No, they're all broken up into suites. The reason I asked the question is all of the suites are on the first floor. There is apparently something on the second floor, but not related to the commercial rentals that are on the first floor. You have numbers, and I've been to the site, from 1 to 6, but there is no number 4.
I
Now,
think,
State Farm is number 3,
1,
1 and 2.
I'm 1 and 2.
1 and 2,
Yeah.
okay. I just wanted to clarify that for the record.
That's helpful, thank you.
I have a question for staff of the same client, same case, regardless of being in 2 different locations. In December, there were 9 findings of fact, but tonight there's only 2. The only difference should be the reference to the downtown master plan, which would have applied to the December meeting, but not to tonight. So really, that would be 8 as opposed to 2 tonight. What is the difference? I mean, I can read the difference, but I mean, I'm looking for consistency.
Right, I believe that one of those other findings of fact had to do with parking in the downtown. I don't have them in front of me, but the heart of the reason they're different is also stemming from the conversation we had when we did the kind of training refresher. And I'd been talking with our corporate counsel as well about what actually needs to go into the findings and making them a little more concise. So part of it is that number 1 kind of encompasses the summary of the zoning requirements, which we used to break into a few different findings. And I think there might be other things that are just statements of fact that aren't necessarily findings of the commission that were whittled out. But these are always a draft, so you can amend them as you see fit.
So at some point, if I understand you, in the future, when it's been determined, we will get some sort of a outline of what may be included for consistency in the findings of fact from meeting to meeting? Is that what you're saying?
I wasn't anticipating that. I was saying that we did talk about it during the plan commissioner training that we did, or like that refresher training, when we had Chris here with us. It could be useful to do an outline of what goes into the findings as like a tool for us and a tool for you.
Well, why would they do that? I don't see why there would be a need. If you're making findings of fact during the meeting, you can't go back and re-edit them later. If you want to make additional findings of fact, you would do that as a part of this meeting, but you wouldn't go back later and edit findings of fact to, unless you state tonight that I would like to reincorporate the findings that were made from the previous meeting into tonight, then tonight's, if you want to make additional findings tonight, you could certainly do that.
I'm not suggesting that.
No, I know, I'm just saying it's.
Well, here's an example.
Bring it on.
The proposed business will operate within an existing commercial building that is adequately served by utilities, access, and on-site parking. That is not included in December. Now, in December, parking requirements can be accommodated on site. Well, that could have been said tonight, because they can be accommodated on site.
It is.
The proposed establishment has 2,200 square feet. Okay, that's in here. That's 1,900 square feet. A salon is a special use in the B1 Central Business District. That reference is not in the findings of fact. What I'm trying to identify, and then, of course, that's number 4, the proposed holistic wellness business is classified as a salon spa establishment. That too is not included in here. I don't want to go deep into the woods. I'm just saying that for the same business, same case, same applicant, in a different location, understandably, there would be some differences between the zoning, the intensity of the downtown district, the proliferation of salons in the downtown district, but the rest of the findings of fact really should be consistent.
Yeah, it reflects a little bit of sharpening the pencil in how we write these. That was tying into the special use standards and the conversations we had about those. So that it's a adjustment that we made. When did we do that training? February?
Okay, I don't want to dwell on it. I'm just, it seemed odd to me that there was that dramatic a difference in the number of findings of fact. Maybe it's something that we should address at a later time. I have no other questions.
Okay. Member Johnson?
I don't really have any questions, because I appreciate the passion you expressed about your business, and I know you take your business pretty seriously, as we saw the last time. So I just sort of following up quickly on the subleases.
Okay.
The landlord approves those subleases
Yes.
for the tenants, for those tenants who come in, so
Yeah.
you would have nothing to do with that, or would they come through you, or would he have to approve every other person who joined, independent contractor who joins your group?
They come through me.
They come
Oh,
through you?
yeah.
Okay.
He just had to approve that I can do it, and it has to be what I said, what I told him
Right, of
I was
course.
gonna use it for, or who I was gonna rent it to. So that was the only thing, that needed to be done, but they come through me.
And can you just talk to us a little bit about, I know you cleared up last time, issues related to sanitation and those kind of things, how they're handled in your business, cleaning up those kind of fluids and other things that might be there. That's sort of a profession.
Yeah, so in school, we're trying to deal with that because, you know, that's serious. So the purifier, you can use a purifier. You use disinfectant solutions for when you're washing the linen. You sanitize between each client. What else? It's just regular cleaning, but you just sanitize. You sanitize between each client.
Now, you're gonna be responsible for all of that, or each subtenant is sort of?
Each
Responsible.
subtenant is responsible. Yeah.
And are these,
You just wash down everything and just
Okay.
sterilize everything between each client. And you just, and just use also, well, I use an air purifier. I don't know if everybody uses that, but that's one of the things I use as well.
I was just wondering if that was something you were gonna be doing for everybody, or each subtenant is sort of responsible for their own cleanup and that sort of thing. So,
Everybody is responsible for their own,
okay,
but I will inquire because I take that seriously.
absolutely.
So I want to know, what are they going to do? What products are they going to use to sanitize? Because I do take that very seriously.
I know you do. I have no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't have any questions really pertaining to the facts of the case. I do have one technical question though about one of your services, with your treatment rooms. So, and I don't remember it from last time, but I'm sure it was in there, the infrared sauna room. So that just means that there's no open flame heating what heats the room, right?
The light,
So it's just from a light.
yeah.
But is there still mist in the room?
No, it heats from inside. It doesn't heat up the atmosphere.
Okay.
It heats from the inside out.
Okay. So you don't really have to do anything special
No.
to the room to avoid,
No,
high
it doesn't
moisture
get
or
steamy
anything like that?
It's no moisture or anything.
Okay. Interesting. That was more out of curiosity than anything else. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Anybody else, any final clarifications or questions? Now's your chance.
And I have another question. You refer to your companions as subtenants. I'm just not clear on the concept. Does that mean they're operating a business independent of yours?
Yeah, it's, we're a team. BB Holistic is where they're housed. But as far as doing and I also help with marketing, and they also use the space in BB Holistic. They can use the relaxation room, the sauna, and other things that the workshop, we all work together, but as far as booking, their clients will book with them. You know,
So this raises a question for staff. If this sounds like separate independent businesses, are these separate independent businesses that need to be separately licensed by the village?
I don't think they
No.
are, and I don't know a whole lot of the explanation behind that, because it's not my area of expertise, and I understand what you're thinking, and I'm kind of wondering the same things, I think. So we could learn more about it to inform you all, but I don't have that information at my fingertips.
they do have to have insurance.
Well, I
They have to have
understand
their
that, but the point I made back in December, and I'm making it again now, it just strikes me that this is directed for staff, that this is an opportunity of, you're the umbrella, holistic, I get it, I understand that. You're in essence a mini landlord within your building, and you have these subtenants. That's all well and good, but it just makes me wonder if, I already asked that question, are they gonna need a separate business license? And then secondly, if maybe there's a subtlety in the difference in their business that may require a special use permit from us. So my point is, how many spaces potentially are there for you to sublease?
There's 4.
Okay, so that means that we have before us now an application, a petition for a special use permit, but conceivably, we could actually be looking at 4 or 5.
I think,
Yeah, go ahead.
I think this is like, you've said it before, it's like the gray area where it
Right.
gets kind of complicated, and I agree with that. So what I'm thinking right now is that we're looking not at one room that, let's say it's 250 square feet that we're giving a special use for. We're giving a special, or if you choose to grant a special use, it's for all of the different use rooms in there. If it's found that massage therapy is an acceptable use at this location, it's not just for Bonita, but it could be for Bonita and that one other massage therapist. So I think there's that really fine-grained nuance of the business as a whole versus the providers in there. And my mind goes to salons as a similar business operation where you might permit one salon that each of those chairs might be individually leased out, but each person operating the chair doesn't come in and get their own business license.
I
So-
understand that, but where I'm going with this,
Yeah.
again, it's a holistic business. And
Right.
what guarantee that do we have that all of the subtenants will be massage therapists?
Well, they're not all.
They're not.
They're not all massage therapists, and what you have before you is what their business is gonna be
Yeah.
about.
I understand that.
And
but
so, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I don't think there's any gray area at all. If I came in and I opened up a flower shop inside the massage therapy business that she's getting approval for tonight, that's a different issue. Wait a minute, you came before us for massage therapy, not to open up a flower shop.
I understand that.
And so we're voting tonight on that. If a subtenant comes in and determines to do something different than what's been approved here for that space, then that could be a problem. But as long as it fits within the corners of what we're permitting her to do, then what a subtenant does, or an independent, for that matter, an independent contractor does to her makes no difference. So we don't have to go in and put a magnifying glass on the operations in there in case somebody does something maybe slightly different. I'm not doing massage therapy, and maybe I'm doing nail therapy, because it's all been laid out here before us. So I don't think this is the kind, we've had this issue before you got here, Valerie, once, a couple of years ago, where we talked about, there's a business downtown Homewood where it was supposed to be kind of an open concept. I can't remember what it was, with multiple businesses inside. And that was before us.
But they couldn't tell us what those businesses might be.
Right, exactly.
It was all in speculation.
Right.
So how do you write
How do you
a special use to speculated stuff? And there's no speculation here. It's all listed.
Yeah. This is not, right, this is not the example.
in the materials from the first part of the case.
Side of Dixie.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
There was a meeting room as well.
Exactly.
as long as,
Yeah,
15.
right, exactly.
so as long as nobody does anything outside of what is listed here, the special use acts as an umbrella. And, yeah, so
I
as
thought
long,
the special use covered the location.
it does. And, but it's the specific,
Right,
the specific activities that are going to take place in there.
Right.
And it's all listed and it's all in detail in her letter, which is part of the application and part of the record. So this, as long as the special use is chained to that and she doesn't introduce anything new or different, the special use is valid. If you want to serve, tequila shots on Sunday, it's another story. You're going to have to come back. So,
But how would we know that?
That's a liquor
That's his
license.
point. How do you know when that changes?
how do you know any
Are
difference?
your
Any
leases,
differences?
are your leases for a set time period or?
Yeah, and then also, I have to stick to what I said, because that's what's in my lease, in my agreement with the landlord. So I can't do anything different.
In addition to being in the ordinance, that would be granted.
But that's always an issue if somebody comes, with okay, and we've had it happen before where, you approve something and all of a sudden somebody's doing something else and it was never approved, right?
How do you know they're not running off-track betting
It
at
happens all the time.
Panera Bread or something?
Right, it happens all the time. Well,
You gotta wait for the
And
fire
the inspectors have
That's
to
exactly
deal
it,
with
that's
that.
when you find it, it's the annual fire.
Right.
fire
Annual fire
inspection.
department.
Yeah, exactly. That's all we have.
Any
I
oth-
forgot how the dust settled in that new update, but let's take, for example, Commissioner Cap has a valid question. If you put in here, there's a vacant treatment room in 6 months, and someone comes in to do dry tattooing. Well, tattooing required 1,000 foot away from a church. It was required to be further than 1,000 feet from a church, and the one that we approved is less than 1,000 feet. But I forget on the marijuana application that came in, they were, I think, 1,100 feet from the school or the church that's in East Hazel Crest. And this is close to East Hazel Crest. So for sake of discussion,
Sure.
what if a dry tattoo entrepreneur came to Ms. Best and she were to accept that individual? Is that acceptable?
She'd be violating the special use
No,
permit.
she's violating the special use.
And eventually
I
it
think
gets
that's
found
his
out
point.
that then there'll be
Right.
ramifications to that,
Right.
Because it's
just like
not
any other
included.
business.
Yeah, and then she could come back and apply for an amendment to the special use, which would then be for your.
Okay, I'm trying to clarify this.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me ask you one question. In the subleases that you're intending for the individuals that will be coming in and occupying these treatment rooms, are you guided by, have you seen an attorney? Is there a
Yeah.
sublease that you have
I have
that
an
these
attorney.
people will sign
Yes,
that covers all that we've discussed?
yes.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
If she violates the lease, they all get kicked out
No, that's,
and they sue her.
I was just trying to clarify. That's
That's why she's the one here getting the special use
Uh-huh.
permit. Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
Okay. If there's no more questions or clarifications, I'll entertain a motion to approve. Get back to my case number here. Case number 22-35. 23, see, the footer doesn't match the text, 2350. Yeah, there's your first error. The footer's off one number. Case 23-15, special use permit for massage therapy. Anyone?
I'll make a motion to recommend approval of case 2315 to grant a special use permit. The massage therapy and beef workshopping district for BB Holistic LLC at 920 West 175th Street, incorporating the findings of fact into the records. That's all the two findings of fact that the note denied.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion by member Johnson and a second by member O'Brien. Roll call, please.
Member Alfonso,
Yes,
member Cap,
No,
member O'Brien,
Yes.
member Johnson,
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Bransky,
Yes.
member Cap. Do you have any comment?
questions stand for themselves.
Ooh, we got 4 in the front. So we'll take it to the village board in like 2 weeks.
Next stop, village board.
Good
Thank
luck.
you.
Good luck with it.
Wish
Thank you.
the
Thank
best.
you so much.
And no tequila shots on Sunday. That was just a what if for conversation.
That doesn't fit the.
That was for
holistic
illustrative
thing.
purposes only. All right, next on our agenda, old business. After that, new business.
I have none of these.
The new boss, same as the old boss.
Anything to report in the village, anything interesting going on?
We got a new finance director.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
We do have a new finance director.
Boy, Dennis has been around forever.
I like to look out the window and see the progress on the Harvard building every day. They put up a cornice and have been painting it.
Oh, that looks pretty.
Anything
Never
on
up there.
the northeast corner of Ridge and Harwood, or across from the train station? There was some contemplation of somebody buying that,
That white building.
the white building, and putting in multi-use retail to cater to the pedestrian
Across
traffic,
from the Ridgewood, yeah.
I don't.
across from Woodward Tap,
Oh, the Matrix
Five-story
building.
building.
Yeah.
Here.
whatever it's called.
I don't know anything about that.
Okay.
Hmm. No,
Well,
I'm not aware.
We have a report from many of don't we have 2 members?
Oh, yeah.
on the board who
Oh, that's a
were
good
supposed to be
one,
reporting-
yeah.
Reporting back to us.
We took a walking tour of downtown Homewood, discussed some of the sites.
Podium.
Do you want me to take the podium and swear in? So that there was I'll tell you what struck me was I was surprised by the members that were, or the people that came for the, trying to think of the term is escaping me, the
Steering committee.
steering committee, thank you for the update to the master plan to make it more transportation friendly. There were many people, in fact, the majority of the people were from the various transit agencies that serve Homewood. There was representative of PACE, RTA, Metra, and I was really caught off guard by that. And then we had several business people and some students that were studying urban planning. So I think it drew a really good collective of people that have a lot of interest in pushing that movement forward. So I'm expecting good things to come out of it. We did a walking tour, looked at some of the sites that are under consideration, had brief explanations of what could be considered to bring those sites to be more friendlier to transit, and also a little more appealing, because some of them are kind of run down spots. And then there was an invitation for the next meeting, which is June 6th, I believe,
Yeah.
in which we are encouraged to repeat that tour with some key locations mapped out for us and make our own, form our own opinions about what can or should be done there to bring to the meeting for discussion.
You know, so that's a focus group meeting that
Okay.
we also included the steering committee members on. You may not need to redo the tour. That was sent as homework for
For
the
those who
focus
weren't on
group
the original.
people who haven't done it before.
Gotcha.
Yes, I did not think about how that would connect.
That's how I took it. I was gonna take the tour.
But you're always welcome to, you know, take yourself on a walk around town and think about what it could be.
Yeah.
And then report back to us.
Okay.
Depending on how
Chronicle was
town
with
was-
us on his bike.
The representative from the Home
The
Enforcement
editor.
Chronicle.
Oh, yeah.
Anything you want to add to that? Any observations or?
Well, I discussed with the individual that's leading this, two things. One is parking and the other is transportation. A while back, I was in Atlantic City, a good while back, and they had jitneys or shuttles, and they were free and in a particular area. And you could walk out of an establishment, a restaurant, get on the jitney and go down to, an entertainment venue, whatever. And it was quite convenient. And I mentioned that to her, and she said they're thinking of something like that from the train station to the casino. And I extended that. I said, well, why can't we go down Harwood, 183rd, loop around, come back on Dixie and down Ridge Road, to provide a,
Get people shuttled to other points of interest, maybe paid for by the casino.
well, there could be a cost. In Atlantic City, there wasn't a cost, but we could have a cost, but we could have a southern loop, just like Chicago has a loop, and promote it that way.
I thought of you while I was on vacation because I saw maybe closer to the term jitney, but in Madrid, at the very popular spot, they had these little motorized, like open cars that maybe sat 4 to 6 people. And I took some pictures because it made me think of this suggestion that you've made.
Well, the ones in Atlantic City accommodated more than 4 to 6, but it's the concept.
Yeah.
We've got to move people around and make it convenient for the shop owners.
Well, especially with no parking, right?
Well, that's the other thing I was hesitating to get at. As a non-home rule municipality, we cannot mark, as we used to, the vehicles that are parked on Ridge Road, so that the police would come around later and see that they'd marked that one, it stayed too long, and they could give a ticket. We're not allowed to do that any longer. That's home rule. Municipalities can do that. We cannot. The properties in doing a walking tour that we discussed on the walking tour, some of us did. I mean, the group fanned out because it was a decent sized group. Some of the properties that we passed, I asked questions about because they were logical to be used for parking in close proximity to the downtown area. It would be wonderful. But the answer that I got back, not that evening, was that these people have been approached before that have these properties, and they're not receptive to much of anything at all. Take, for example, the obvious property east of Dixie, behind, what the hell would it be? 18141, behind the old
Mama's Pizza.
restaurant, where the
Bogarts.
behind Bogarts, where the property goes all the way back to the next street, and there's an elevation, and that is huge for parking. But apparently, the owner of that particular building is not receptive at all to any inquiries or entreaties or anything. And there are other properties along the walking tour that we had for the same reason, much smaller properties, but the same answer. Well, in my mind, I'm saying, okay, you have this huge piece of property, you're paying taxes on it. Nothing is happening on it.
Yeah.
Why can't something be done? It doesn't make any sense. So, I mean, there's a myriad of things on the walking tour, after the walking tour, and so forth. But I was glad to hear that she had already marked down that that's an idea, to have some sort of a shuttle between the train station and the casino.
Yeah, if we can get it to stop at points in between, that would be great, because if they're trying to draw people from the city to come on the train and come down here, we can share in that draw and advertise. Somebody might not want to eat dinner at the casino, they might want to come and eat dinner down here instead of downtown. So, and then catch their train back to the city. But the only one other thing that stuck out to me on the walk was how poor some of our infrastructure is. I noticed a lot of the sidewalks and the curbing were in really bad shape, especially the brick that we put in back in the late 80s, early 90s. and the tree grates and everything just really didn't fare well. And I'm kind of hoping that we can kind of reimagine how to rebuild some of those so that they last a little longer and are maybe a little more friendly, because we don't have a whole lot of foot space before you're in the street. And yeah, you want to keep your community tree lined, streets tree lined, but to kind of interfere with the walking space, maybe there's a way to do it a little more efficiently, so.
You're talking about just in the B1 district.
Yeah, like on Harwood and some of the sidewalks on, even on Ridge
Some of it's the beach.
are kind of beaten up, and they're, the brick and the concrete rings are all disheveled. and-
Right, because we were looking at that down, further down Harwood, which would be the B2 district, but I know one of our trustees has pointed out to me on Ridge Road by the park as well.
You don't see it driving by, but when you're doing a walking
Right,
tour,
yeah,
That
that's
is
why,
where you
that's why
you
it
encounter it.
it stood out to me,
Yeah.
because I know, I mean, I walk my dogs and stuff, but never really paid much attention to it. But then when we're doing that walk, it's like, this
Yeah, lots of tripping.
this is getting
hazards.
kind of shabby around here. Okay. Well, with
The
that,
irony of that is, we're trying to promote walking.
yeah, well, this, the things we got to address. So,
Thank you for that report.
with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
So moved.
Got a motion from Member Alfonso and seconded by Member O'Brien.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Any opposed?
meeting adjourned.
7:46.
I just wanted to use the hammer.
So we could call you a hammer now?
Well, have good luck with Memorial.